going on, guys? It's the Pigman here. I'm back. I've been away for a while. Not away as in like abroad or anything, just not been uploading, doing my own thing, and I've been playing some Kerbal space program. Been getting pretty good at it in learning terms. This is a little tutorial on how I get to Minimus, and also how I actually managed to create a start of a first base on Minimus. So we'll walk right into it. So here we see me creating a path to Minimus. It's kind of hard to do, I found. A lot harder than it is to get to the moon. But you've just got to try and make it so you're at like a 90-degree angle from where Minimus currently is from Kerbal. So that's pretty much all there is to it, apart from changing your eccentricity slightly to meet Minimus. It's just a matter of tweaking your ways to get there, really. So I'm currently making my burn towards Minimus. As you can see, it's been sped up 5 times just for this video's sake. I've got my ship equipped with solar power, batteries for them, enough Delta V, as you'd see from stage 0 there. There's a shitload of Delta V for me to complete my objective. Bearing in mind, I've never set up any sort of station before. This one's part of the contracts mission. That's pretty much all I play is contract. Try not to make too many dodgy mistakes. This one was just to set up a base that can power itself on the surface of Minimus with a docking port. And I haven't actually docked yet. I've watched tutorials on how to dock. I just haven't docked. So here I'm just setting up sort of a stable orbit. I'm trying to get around 20,000 meters for the apoapsis and the periapsis. I always find this is the most pleasing part to do, because I don't manage my Delta V very well, and I sometimes end up with nowhere near or way too much. I never seem to be on the line, and I don't actually like to be on the line, because I imagine that NASA probably don't like to be on the line as well. Maybe for certain stages when they know there's not a lot of margin for error, but I imagine for the later stages when they can afford to have a bit more fuel, a bit more battery power, I'm sure they do overspend as well. So here you can see I've stayed with my orbit, and now I'm trying to find a good place to land, and Minimus makes it blatantly obvious. Most of it's just massive mountains or rocky areas, and I'm trying to land on those smooth flat areas. So you see me fiddling with my inclination there, my angle to the orbit, just trying to get a nice space to land on, really. There we go, that's the burn done. So as you can see, I should be good to go. Now, I recently found out, this is really embarrassing, but I was clicking each individual landing strut one by one, but if you just press G, it doesn't always work the first time. Just press G, it lowers them and extends them and retracts them as well. So see, I'm using MechJeb's smartass here to burn retrograde, just to slow down my horizontal speed. You can see I'm just about 100 meters per second horizontal and about 35 vertical. So I'm just trying to lower my horizontal speed. I actually burn slightly too early because I'm trying to land obviously in that flat bit. I end up straight falling into this blooming side of this hill, so not the greatest idea. Again, I use smartass surf and up to point straight up. It's much easier than just fiddling about with the controls yourself. This is actually an unmanned vessel. I'm using a probe thing, so it's pretty much a probe. I don't like risking lives unless I have to. So as you can see, I've stopped my horizontal speed a bit too early, so I'm using my RCS thrusters. Just press R on your keyboard to activate that. You see the highlighted in green. I'm just using that to speed up horizontally again, just to get me away from that area, because I don't want a stupid landing, which I always seems to do. Probably like 1 in 3 attempts I have a stupid landing and I have to do some crazy Kerbal skills to get me up right again. You can see I'm trying to keep a stable vertical speed while I'm doing this, so I'm hovering around 5 meters per second, which isn't too bad really. So here we go, this is what I wanted. So now I'm going to just reduce my horizontal speed by using the I, J, K and L buttons for RCS. And I've slowed this part down because this is the landing. This is probably what you want to see. This is stress-free, tell you, stress-free landing. As soon as you see that shadow popping up from the bottom of the screen, you know you should be going slow enough to, well, you should well be going slow enough before you see that shadow, but you know you're in a good spot when you are going slow anyway. So here we go, here's the final descent. Just touching on the thrust slightly to just make it more comfortable landing, and there we go, no problem. So worst thing is about landing an unmanned probe is that you can't do much science. Yeah, you can collect a temperature scan or anything attached to your vessel, but you can't do anything else. Obviously, you can't get out and do a surface report, all that sort of thing. So I found out that you can't just log the temperature as well and transmit it at the same time. It doesn't do it for some reason. So you'll see here, you'll try and log it and transmit. It just doesn't do anything, or at least it says it doesn't do anything. So I found out that you have to log it and just record the data and then go to your transmitter. See, I try again there and it doesn't work. So this time, let's see, I'll try and transmit it anyway and it just doesn't have any of it. So you'll see in a second. Bit of confusion for the big man there. So as you can see, when I can actually click on it, log it, keep the data, and then go back to your transmitter, and then transmit the data. And that's the only way I've managed to get it to work, which is fine. You can see I'm not losing any electric charge as I've got solar panels all around my, my actual vessel, so no issues there. And obviously I can't take a crew report because there's no crew in there. So here's the build. So here's what I use to get to Minimus and to land and have enough delta V to not worry too much. So start off with this docking area and move on down to the probe. So the probe is called a, let's see what it's called, a probe, you know what it is. I'm not even going to try and say that. So use that on top. And then we have the MK1 lander can, which can only fit one person, but this mission was to fit 5 people in, so I've got an MK1 lander can, and then I've got 2 crew departments stacked below it, which both can hold 2 each, so that's 5, so that's enough. Bit of a pain in the arse because it is quite a tall ship. Here we have our science, so we've got a temperature log there, and we've got our transmitter just below it. For the thrust we use 400 fuel tanks, and then we've surrounded that 4 around the MKQ cabins just to create a, you know, not too much of a tall ship. We don't want to stack those on top of each other. And I've actually put the RCS thrusters around the centre of weight for that one stage, so that is the centre of weight right there where the RCS was. There's 4 around each one. It's always best to do that, otherwise you get some dodgy RCS thrusts where you start flipping, which isn't good. And then I've got some tanks for the monopropellant for the RCS thrusters. And then I've used upgraded my landing struts, so the LT1 landing struts, 1 on each tank, makes it all nice and stable. No worries there. Then we've actually got a decoupler and I think that's an 800 tank below it. I hadn't actually got an engine below that. I've just attached another tank. No point. I decided there's no point having any thrust because obviously you need another fuel tank in front of that for any thrust to go below it. So there's no need for that. So again, we've got an 800 fuel tank separated by a stacked decoupler, and then underneath that we have a I think it's a Terrier. No, it's not a Terrier, it's a swivel engine. just to give us more thrust and direction, enough delta V to actually get somewhere. Another stat decoupler, and then we use a Rocco Max brand adapter just to ensure we can use the larger engines. Then we've got one large Rocco Max engine, so 32, two of them stacked on top of each other, surrounded by duplicates of that 3 around it. And then I've got some Delta Deluxe winglets to finish it off, and that gives us enough control, as with the new update, is to not flip over during the ascent from curbing. And then it was a bit dodgy because it kept shaking about all over the shop, so I literally had to attach struts, especially around the middle when it kept trying to flop over, and then also some external fuel ducts from each tank into the middle to feed in, so at the end of that stage you've got a full stage tank available to you. So that's it. That's my build. Hope you enjoy it. Have fun trying to get to Minimus. See you later. Bye.